Deep space was cold and quiet. Stars shone like tiny sparks in a black ocean. The galaxy seemed calm, but this calm was only an illusion. Far away, a massive alien fleet moved like a storm. Their ships glimmered with strange golden light, and their size was terrifying. Every ship looked alive like a god walking through space. The fleet had destroyed many worlds before. Planets were left as lifeless rocks, their skies burned, their oceans boiled away. The humans of the galaxy had heard rumors of this fleet, but no one had survived to tell the story. On a small human colony at the very edge of known space, life continued quietly. This world, called Orion 7, was far from the center of human civilization. It had small towns, low-tech factories, and tired spaceships. People lived simple lives, growing crops, repairing ships, and trying to survive. But today their world would not stay quiet. Inside a small hangar, Captain Alex Ryden, a lone human pilot, was checking his old ship. The ship was nothing compared to the alien vessels. Its hull was scratched and its engines made strange noises. But Alex knew it was fast, clever, and could do more than it looked like. He tightened the last bolts on the control panel and ran his hands over the worn leather seat. His eyes were calm, but deep inside he felt the weight of what was coming. Suddenly, alarms rang across the colony. Alien scouts had entered the system. Their small but fast ships scanned the planet, sending images back to the godlike fleet. The aliens saw the colony and laughed. "Pathetic," one of them said. "This world is weak. Humans are weak." People on the ground screamed and ran. Families hid in bunkers, and soldiers grabbed whatever weapons they could find. The humans had no chance against the alien fleet. Their guns would not reach the ships, and their defenses would crumble in seconds. Alex sat in his cockpit, staring at the view screen. The aliens were already breaking through the atmosphere. Fire and explosions lit the sky as buildings burned. Smoke and debris filled the air. Children cried. Parents shouted. Every second brought more destruction. A small device on his dashboard beeped urgently. Alex picked it up. A crackling voice came through. "Alex Ryden, you're our only hope. The fleet, it will destroy everything if we do not stop them. Go, now." Alex's hand tightened on the controls. His heart raced. He knew what this meant. He was alone. The entire alien fleet was coming for him. He was a single human against thousands of ships, each one more powerful than anything humans had ever built. But turning back was not an option. People's lives, the survival of his world, depended on him. He started the engines. They roared to life, shaking the hangar. Sparks flew from the floor. The ship lifted off, slowly at first, then faster. Outside, the alien scouts were already firing. Bright blue beams cut through the air, burning holes into the ground. Alex dodged, twisting the ship sharply, feeling every vibration. The camera seemed to follow him, zooming in on his face. Sweat ran down his forehead. His jaw was tight. His eyes were full of determination. He was small, human, alone, and completely outmatched. But he did not hesitate. He had no fear for himself. Only for the people he had promised to protect. As he soared into the blackness of space, the alien fleet revealed its full strength. Massive warships appeared, each one bigger than mountains. Their engines glowed like suns and weapons fired without mercy. Smaller ships flanked the larger ones, moving in perfect synchronization. It looked like the fleet was alive, a single mind thinking, hunting, and destroying. Alex's ship was tiny compared to these giants. Yet he did not panic. He remembered every training session, every simulation, every mission he had flown. He had always been fast, clever, and unpredictable. And now he would need every ounce of skill he had. He dove toward an asteroid field, weaving between rocks, using them as cover. The alien beams cut the space around him, but he was too quick. A small missile grazed his wing, sending sparks flying. The ship shuddered, but he kept moving. He could hear the warning alarm screaming inside the cockpit. Every system on the ship was working at its limit. Then the view screen showed a massive warship turning toward him. Its size made his stomach twist. It was a godlike vessel, shimmering in golden light, radiating power. Its weapons were huge, and its gaze seemed to pierce Alex's very soul. The alien commander's voice echoed across the communication network, cold and amused. "A single human dares to face us? This is amusing. Prepare to die, weak creature." Alex did not respond. He tightened his grip on the controls and whispered to himself, "Not today, not while anyone is still alive." The camera focused on his determined eyes. Sweat, fire, and the cold void of space surrounded him. He was one man. He was alone. But he was ready. The battle for his world and for all humanity had just begun. And in the distance, the alien fleet moved closer, their golden ships glinting under distant stars, unaware that this one human would soon challenge everything they believed about power, strength, and fear. Alex Ryden flew through the black void of space, his small ship weaving between massive asteroid fields. Every turn, every twist, every dive was calculated. The alien scouts were fast, but Alex was faster, sharper, and unpredictable. His ship may have looked old and weak, but he knew it better than anyone else knew their godlike vessels. The colony behind him was burning. Explosions lit the atmosphere like lightning in a storm. Alex could see tiny fires flickering across the planet. Smoke spiraled into space. Families were running to safety, soldiers fired at alien scouts, and automated turrets tried to hold the enemy back. It was chaos. Focus, Alex muttered to himself, gripping the controls tightly. He could not think about fear, panic, or the odds. He had only one goal: survive and strike back. The first wave of alien scouts approached. They were small, fast, and deadly, but not smart enough to predict Alex. He lured one into a narrow canyon in the asteroid belt. The scout followed him blindly. Alex dove between massive rocks, forcing the alien ship to follow. Suddenly, he fired a precise shot from his laser cannon. The beam cut straight through the scout's engine. The alien ship spun wildly and exploded in a bright flash. Alex exhaled slowly. It was just one scout, but it gave him hope. One small victory in the face of thousands. More scouts came, faster now, sensing danger. Alex used every trick he had learned in years of solo missions. He fired decoy flares to confuse their sensors. He looped, twisted, and darted between asteroids, making impossible maneuvers. The alien ships collided with each other or missed their shots by inches. Alex smiled faintly. Human creativity was unpredictable, even for godlike aliens. But the fleet was watching. A massive warship, larger than anything Alex had ever imagined, appeared on the edge of the asteroid belt. Its golden hull reflected distant stars. Its weapons glowed ominously. From the ship, a cold, commanding voice echoed across the communication network. "Pathetic human. You amuse us. But your life ends now." Alex's stomach tightened, but he did not falter. He had to think faster, fight smarter. He pushed his ship into a narrow space between two massive asteroids, disappearing from the warship's sensors. The alien commander cursed. "Where is he?" The voice boomed, cold and sharp. Alex's hands moved quickly, flipping switches, pressing buttons, activating hidden thrusters. His ship darted out of the asteroid belt like a silver arrow. A scout tried to chase him but collided with a rock Alex had predicted would be in its path. Another destroyed itself by flying into a small moon. Alex realized something important. The aliens were powerful but predictable. They moved with arrogance, assuming humans were weak and foolish. That arrogance was their weakness. He took a deep breath and sent a signal to the fleet's communications. "You may have power, but you do not have me." It was a small act of defiance, but it filled Alex with determination. He was alone, outnumbered, and facing what could easily be the end of humanity. Yet he refused to die without fighting. Suddenly more scouts arrived. A squadron of 10, sleek and deadly. Alex counted the distance, calculating their speed and trajectories. He aimed at one, then another, firing rapidly. His lasers sliced through their ships one by one. Explosions lit the void. The alien pilots were shocked. No human had ever taken down even one of their ships, let alone a whole squadron. The alien commander noticed. "Interesting," he said, narrowing his eyes. "This human, he is different." Alex knew he could not fight the entire fleet at once. But he could survive long enough to learn their patterns, exploit their mistakes, and strike at weak points. Every move, every dodge, every shot was a lesson. He studied the alien ships, memorized their maneuvers, and adapted. As he flew through the debris of destroyed scouts, Alex noticed a gap in the fleet's formation. It was risky, but it offered him a chance to hit a key target. One of the smaller warships coordinating the scouts. He calculated the angle, the timing, and the energy needed. Then he accelerated. The warship's shields were strong, but Alex's laser hit a critical junction. Sparks flew and alarms blared on the alien vessel. It spun out of formation, forcing other scouts to react. Alex had caused chaos in the enemy fleet. A small human, but a human capable of thinking like no alien had expected. A sudden warning flashed on Alex's console. A massive ship was locking onto him, firing a weapon that could vaporize his ship in seconds. Alex twisted, spun, and activated the ship's emergency thrusters. The beam grazed the side of his hull, tearing metal and setting fire to his systems. Smoke filled the cockpit, alarms screamed. But he was alive. He looked out at the fleet. Thousands of ships, glowing like golden gods. And in the middle, a massive warship, the flagship, watched him with interest. Alex knew the real fight had not yet begun. He pressed a button to send a small signal back to the colony, a warning and a promise: stay safe. I will not fail. His hands tightened on the controls. His heart pounded, but his mind was clear. One human against an entire alien fleet, but one human could change everything. And in the cold, endless void of space, a tiny ship moved with unmatched skill and courage. Alex Ryden was no ordinary pilot. He was humanity's last hope. The battle had begun. The human strikes had started. And the galaxy was about to witness something it had never seen before. Alex Ryden's ship drifted silently among the floating debris of destroyed alien scouts. His small vessel was battered, panels burned, and sparks flew from damaged systems, but Alex did not slow down. Every second mattered. He knew that surviving a few victories against the scouts was only the beginning. The real challenge, the godlike fleet's full might, was still out there, and it was coming for him. He navigated through the remnants of the asteroid belt, weaving between jagged rocks that threatened to tear his ship apart. The alien fleet had regrouped, massive warships scanning for any sign of him. They moved in perfect formation, their golden hulls glowing ominously in the void. Alex studied them carefully. The aliens were powerful, yes, but predictable. Their arrogance was their weakness. Think fast, move faster, Alex muttered under his breath, eyes fixed on the instruments. He adjusted his course, diving into a narrow pass between two massive asteroids. Sensors beeped warnings, shields glowed red, but he was in control. His mind raced, calculating every move in fractions of seconds. Suddenly, a scout appeared, faster than before, firing precision beams. Alex twisted sharply, dodging the deadly shots. He fired his own lasers, aiming at the ship's engine. Sparks flew, and the scout spiraled into the darkness, exploding into fragments that glimmered against the black sky. Alex exhaled, a small smile crossing his face. Each victory, no matter how tiny, was a step closer to survival. But he knew luck alone would not be enough. The fleet commander had noticed him. A massive warship emerged from the distance, its weapons charging with immense power. The alien voice boomed across his communication system. You survive longer than expected, human. Impressive, but temporary. Surrender now, and your suffering will be short. Alex did not answer. Words would not save him, only action. He activated a hidden module on his ship, a set of emergency thrusters designed for sudden bursts of speed. He rocketed through the asteroid field, barely avoiding collisions, leading the massive warship on a wild chase. The alien weapons fired constantly, each beam a potential death sentence. Yet Alex's skill and human ingenuity allowed him to slip past unscathed. While escaping, Alex studied the fleet's behavior. He noticed patterns in their formation, the way scouts flanked and how warships coordinated attacks. Each move the aliens made left a small opening, a tiny flaw in their godlike armor. He began formulating a plan, a way to survive long enough to strike back at the fleet's weak points. Hours passed, though Alex had no way to tell in the endless void of space. He dodged missiles, fired decoy flares, and narrowly escaped the destructive energy beams of alien warships. Each maneuver drained his ship's systems, and the cockpit was filled with smoke and warning alarms. Yet he felt no fear, only focus. One human mind against thousands of ships, yet his creativity was unmatched. Suddenly he saw a glimmer of hope. A small, abandoned human research station floated in the shadows near the asteroid belt. Alex recalled old reports of a prototype weapon hidden there, designed for emergencies. It was risky, but if he could reach it, he might have a chance to fight back more effectively. He calculated the route, dodging patrols and scanning for enemy sensors. A scout almost caught him, but he fired a well-aimed missile, destroying it instantly. Alex felt the rush of adrenaline, the thrill of survival mixed with the weight of responsibility. Every action he took could save or doom countless lives on his colony. As he approached the station, a massive alien warship blocked his path. Its golden hull radiated power, its engines glowing with deadly energy. The alien commander's voice cut through the comms. You cannot hide, human. We see all. You are insignificant. Alex gritted his teeth. Insignificant? Maybe. But I'm smarter than you think. He activated the station's magnetic field to pull him close. The warship fired its primary beam and the blast tore a hole in space itself. Alex's ship shook violently, alarms screaming. Sparks flew and one of the control panels went dark. But he kept moving, diving into the shadows of the station. The alien weapon missed him by mere meters. Inside the station, Alex quickly scanned the systems. The prototype weapon hummed quietly, awaiting activation. It was a human-made device designed for one purpose: to strike massive damage against superior forces. Alex studied the control panel, memorizing the sequences. He realized it would take all of his skill, timing, and courage to operate it correctly. One mistake and it could destroy him along with the station. As he prepared, scouts and smaller warships appeared outside, scanning for his position. Alex knew he had to move fast. He fired small charges to create debris clouds, confusing the alien sensors. Then he activated the prototype weapon. A low hum filled the station as energy built up, glowing like a second sun. Outside, the alien commander noticed something strange. "What is that human doing?" "Impossible." Alex's eyes glimmered with determination. He was alone, battered, and surrounded by godlike enemies. Yet for the first time he felt a spark of hope. Survival was no longer just about running. It was about fighting back, exploiting weakness, and turning the odds in his favor. He took a deep breath. This was no longer just about evasion. This was the beginning of the human strike. A fight that would change the perception of humanity in the galaxy forever. The camera focused on Alex's face in the cockpit, illuminated by the glow of the prototype weapon. Sweat, dirt, and exhaustion covered him, but his eyes burned with determination. One human, alone, was preparing to challenge an entire godlike fleet. And in the darkness of space, the alien fleet moved closer, unaware that this one human was no ordinary pilot, and that his actions could rewrite the rules of the galaxy. Alex Ryden's small ship trembled as he activated the prototype weapon inside the abandoned research station. Energy pulsed through the ship, lighting the cockpit in a golden glow. The hum was low at first, almost comforting, then grew louder, vibrating through every part of the vessel. Outside, the alien fleet moved in formation, scanning for his presence, unaware that the tiny human was about to strike back in a way no one had ever imagined. He had studied the fleet's patterns for hours, dodged missiles, and outsmarted scouts. Now it was time to act. He aligned the station's weapon with the largest alien warship in the area, the godlike flagship. His hands moved quickly over the controls, entering the precise sequence needed to fire. One wrong move could destroy the station himself, and eliminate the small chance humanity had left. Outside, alien scouts hovered, ready to protect their fleet. Their sensors scanned the asteroid field and the station, trying to locate the human's exact position. Alex gritted his teeth. "Not today," he whispered. He fired a decoy signal, a bright flare that mimicked a ship escaping. The scouts followed blindly, giving him a few precious seconds. The prototype weapon roared to life. A beam of intense energy shot out from the station, slicing through the vacuum of space like a spear of pure light. It hit the alien flagship squarely, and the impact was massive. Sparks flew along its golden hull, energy shields flickered and cracked, and alarms blared across the alien fleet. The godlike warship staggered, as though it had been struck by a force far greater than anything it had ever faced. Alex felt a surge of hope. One small human had made the first strike against a vessel that had been considered untouchable. But there was no time to celebrate. The flagship recovered quickly, its weapons charging at incredible speed. Missiles and energy beams targeted the station. Alex twisted his ship sharply, barely avoiding the deadly blasts. One hit and everything would be gone. He activated the station's emergency thrusters and boosted out of the firing line, diving between asteroids. The weapon's energy pulse continued, hitting smaller warships nearby. They exploded in waves of fire and debris, shocking the alien scouts. The humans' attacks, small, precise, unpredictable, had never been seen before. The flagship turned its attention to Alex. Its golden hull glowed brighter as it prepared a massive counterattack. "Human," the alien commander's voice boomed through the communication channels, cold and amused. "Your tricks amuse me. But now your end has come." Alex didn't answer. He knew talking would not help. Survival depended on speed, skill, and cunning. He darted between rocks, flipping his ship, dodging beams, and firing at vulnerable points on enemy ships. He aimed for engines, weapon systems, and sensor arrays. Each strike was calculated, precise, and deadly. The battle escalated quickly. Scouts swarmed from every direction. Explosions lit up space, and shards of alien ships floated like deadly stars. Alex's small vessel danced among the chaos, a silver streak in the golden firestorm. He fired his lasers and missiles with incredible accuracy, taking down enemy ships one after another. For the first time, the alien pilots were startled. They had expected a weak, insignificant human, but instead they faced a force they could not predict. Even the flagship faltered under his attacks. Its massive shields flickered, sparks flew along its surface, and its weapons momentarily shut down. Alex's heart pounded. He knew he could not destroy it completely alone, but he could delay it, distract it, and buy precious time for other humans to prepare. Every second mattered. But then the flagship's energy surged again. A massive beam fired directly at Alex. His ship shuddered violently as he twisted sharply, using every emergency maneuver at his disposal. He flew through narrow gaps in the asteroid field, dodging death by inches. Sparks flew from the hull, systems went offline temporarily, but he survived. The alien commander's voice was sharp now, angry. "You are only one human. This is not enough. We will crush you." Alex's eyes burned with determination. "One human is enough," he whispered. "If I can fight, they can too." He aimed the prototype weapon again, this time hitting a formation of smaller warships. The blast spread like a wave, destroying multiple ships in one strike. The fleet staggered under the sudden loss. Scouts collided, shields overloaded, and confusion spread among their ranks. For the first time, a human had turned fear into power. Alex knew he could not stop yet. The flagship was still operational, still dangerous. But he had learned something crucial. The aliens were powerful but not invincible. They could be tricked, outsmarted, and fought against with speed, courage, and strategy. He flew closer to the battlefield, weaving through explosions and debris. He fired one last missile at a group of approaching scouts, then pulled a daring maneuver around a small asteroid. The scouts collided with each other, the flagship staggered, and Alex saw a glimmer of hope on the horizon. This was not the end. The fleet was wounded, scattered, and surprised. Alex was still alive, still fighting, and still human. The battle had begun in earnest. The first major strike had been made. And the galaxy had witnessed that even one human, armed with skill, courage, and intelligence, could challenge godlike power. As he drifted slightly behind the battlefield, smoke and sparks filling his cockpit, Alex Ryden realized something incredible. Survival was only the beginning. The fight was far from over, but now he had a plan. Now he had the knowledge. And now the alien fleet knew that humans were not weak, not helpless, and not to be underestimated. The camera zoomed in on his determined eyes. Outside, explosions lit the black void of space. Ships burned, lasers streaked, and the massive alien fleet hovered uncertainly. One human had struck back, and he had changed everything. After the first major battle, Alex Ryden floated in the cold silence of space, his small ship battered but still functional. Sparks flew from the hull, warning alarms screamed in the cockpit, and smoke curled from damaged panels. He had survived impossible odds, destroyed alien scouts, and even hurt a godlike warship. But he knew deep down that this was only the beginning. The fleet was enormous, their power unmatched, and the flagship was still active. Survival alone would not be enough. Humanity needed something stronger. As Alex navigated through the debris of destroyed ships, his sensors picked up a faint signal, a low, pulsating energy hidden deep in an asteroid field. It was weak, ancient, and unlike anything he had ever seen. Curiosity mixed with cautious hope. He knew the aliens had overlooked this sector for centuries. Could it be a weapon? He approached slowly, scanning every inch of the massive asteroids. The signal grew stronger, guiding him toward a small, abandoned space station embedded inside a rocky moon. The structure was old, worn, and covered with layers of dust and cosmic debris. Yet energy pulsed from its core, alive and powerful. This could be it, Alex whispered to himself, feeling a spark of excitement. He docked his ship carefully, the metal screeching as it locked into place. The station's airlocks opened automatically, as if inviting him inside. The interior was dark, silent, and full of forgotten technology. Panels flickered with dim light, and strange glyphs lined the walls, ancient human markings he had never seen before. Alex cautiously walked through the corridors, scanning for life or traps. Nothing moved. Everything was dead silent except for the soft hum of energy coming from the center of the station. He reached a large chamber where a massive device rested. It was unlike any weapon he had seen. Its shape was elegant, almost organic, with glowing lines running across its surface. Energy thrummed from it, powerful but stable. "This is incredible," Alex breathed. "Humans built this ages ago?" He approached the control panel. A holographic interface activated automatically, displaying diagrams, instructions, and warnings. The device was designed for one purpose: to strike at powerful enemies across the galaxy. It could disrupt energy shields, destroy ships en masse, and even temporarily disable a fleet. The weapon was humanity's ancient secret, a power long thought lost, hidden from enemies, and preserved for the desperate moments of survival. Alex's mind raced. Operating it would be dangerous. One wrong move could destroy the station, or worse, himself. Yet the alternative was unthinkable: allow the godlike fleet to wipe out human colonies and enslave worlds. He had no choice. He had to use it. He began the activation process, following the instructions with precision. Power flowed through the station, illuminating corridors and casting shadows across the ancient walls. Lights pulsed rhythmically like a heartbeat. The hum grew louder, resonating deep in Alex's chest. Every panel and wire worked in perfect harmony, guiding him step by step. Suddenly, a warning flashed on his screen. Alien ships had detected the energy surge. Scouts were approaching fast, alerted by the massive power being released. Alex's heart pounded. The aliens would arrive in minutes, and he was alone, inside a stationary target. He had no time for hesitation. "Come on, you can do this," he muttered, flipping switches and pressing buttons with steady hands. Sweat dripped down his forehead, and sparks from damaged panels flew across the room. He felt the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. One human carrying the last hope of his species. Outside, alien scouts swarmed the asteroid field. They moved quickly, scanning for the energy signature. The godlike flagship had noticed too, turning its massive hull toward the station. Its golden light shimmered across the void, weapons charging. Alex knew this would be a fight to the death. He activated the weapon fully. A low pulse of energy spread through the station and into the surrounding space. Sensors picked up fluctuations across the galaxy. Ships were affected, systems disrupted, and shields flickered. The ancient weapon had woken after centuries of silence. A scout fired directly at the station, but the pulse from the weapon knocked its systems offline. Sparks exploded from its hull as it spiraled into the void, destroyed before it could warn the fleet. Alex smiled grimly. This was working. The aliens' strength, their arrogance, and their coordination were being challenged by something they could not understand. But the flagship was still a threat. Its massive beam charged, aiming directly at the station. Alex knew he had only moments. He calculated a risky maneuver, using the weapon's energy surge to propel his ship directly toward the flagship, while the pulse would disable its shields for a brief moment. It was dangerous, nearly suicidal, but it might give humanity its first real chance to strike. He took a deep breath, gripping the controls. The chamber hummed with energy, lights flashing in rhythm with his heartbeat. "For humanity," he whispered, eyes burning with determination. He fired the pulse fully, and the station trembled as energy poured outward, like a second sun exploding in space. Outside, the alien fleet staggered. Their systems flickered, energy shields wavered, and confusion spread. Scouts collided, warships shifted position, and for the first time, fear touched the godlike aliens. Alex gritted his teeth. His ship shook violently as he pushed it toward the flagship. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and every second counted. One human against an entire fleet, armed with ancient power long forgotten, but now rediscovered. He knew the battle ahead would test every ounce of skill, courage, and intelligence he possessed. But for the first time, hope was not just a dream, it was real. Humanity had a weapon. Humanity had a chance. The camera focused on Alex's determined eyes, reflecting the golden glow of the ancient weapon. Outside, the alien fleet hovered uncertainly, massive and powerful, but now vulnerable. And one human, small but unstoppable, was about to challenge them like no one ever had before. Alex Ryden's ship surged forward, propelled by the ancient weapon's energy pulse. The massive godlike flagship loomed ahead, its golden hull reflecting distant stars, engines glowing with immense power. It was the largest, deadliest vessel in the fleet, commanded by a being whose strength and cunning had crushed countless worlds. Yet here Alex was, one human, battered, exhausted, but unbroken. The flagship's weapons charged, beams of blinding energy cutting across space. Alex twisted, flipped, and dodged, using the weapon's residual energy to boost his ship's speed. Sparks flew from his hull, alarms screamed in the cockpit, but he focused on one thing: the commander. The alien who had mocked humanity's weakness was now his target. The flagship opened its main communication channel. The commander's voice boomed through space, cold and terrifying. "Human," it said, every word sharp as a blade, You have survived longer than expected. You amuse me, but your life ends now. Alex didn't answer. He knew words would not stop this godlike entity. He had to fight. He fired the ancient weapon's secondary pulse, aiming at the flagship's shields. Energy crackled and spread like lightning across the alien hull. Shields flickered, sparks danced, and the massive ship staggered. The commander's eyes widened, for the first time revealing a flicker of surprise. But the flagship recovered quickly. Its weapons unleashed a barrage of missiles and energy beams, filling the void with fire and destruction. Alex twisted his ship sharply, narrowly avoiding death. One direct hit would vaporize him instantly. Sparks exploded across the hull, systems overloaded, but he refused to slow down. He remembered everything he had learned over the past battles. The aliens were powerful, but their arrogance made them predictable. Their formations, their attack patterns, and their response times, all could be used against them. He darted around the flagship, luring smaller warships into collisions and confusing the scouts with decoy flares. The alien commander's voice became sharper, more furious. You are only one human. You cannot defeat me. Alex smirked grimly. One human is enough, he muttered, gripping the controls tightly. Using the ancient weapon's residual energy, he executed a daring maneuver. He flew directly toward the flagship's energy core, a massive glowing structure at the heart of the ship. The flagship's shields flickered under the strain, and Alex saw his chance. A sudden burst of laser fire, precise and calculated, hit a weak point he had identified during the previous battles. Sparks flew, systems failed, and alarms blared inside the alien ship. The commander's massive form appeared on the communication display, furious and incredulous. Impossible. You human? Alex didn't flinch. He activated the final sequence of the ancient weapon. Energy surged around his ship, connecting with the flagship's core. A massive explosion of light engulfed the area. The flagship shuddered violently, sparks flying from every panel. Smaller warships scattered in panic, shields failing, engines overloading. The fleet commander roared in frustration as his mighty ship wobbled in space, no longer in complete control. Alex pushed his ship through the chaos, dodging falling debris, burning scouts, and shattered fragments of the flagship. The battlefield was a storm of fire and metal, yet he felt exhilaration. He had done what no one thought possible. A single human had shaken a godlike fleet. But the flagship was not destroyed yet. The commander activated a final weapon, a concentrated beam aimed to obliterate Alex completely. His ship shook violently under the approaching attack. Sweat poured down his forehead and sparks flew inside the cockpit. Time seemed to slow. Every second could be his last. Then, with perfect timing, Alex unleashed the last surge of the ancient weapon. Energy collided with the flagship's beam in a blinding explosion. Light, fire, and power collided in a way that bent space around them. The flagship staggered, systems failing, then exploded. A massive shockwave rippled across space, throwing nearby scouts into chaos. The godlike fleet was in disarray. Alex drifted in the void, battered, smoking but alive. He had done the impossible. The fleet commander's last words echoed faintly through the communication system, filled with disbelief. You, a human, impossible? Alex took a deep breath, staring at the wreckage of the alien fleet. His ship was damaged, his body exhausted, but the victory was real. Humanity had survived. Against all odds, one human had faced a godlike fleet and won. He activated his ship's emergency systems and sent a signal to human colonies across the galaxy. We are alive, he said. And we will fight. Humanity is stronger than anyone ever imagined. For a moment, space was quiet again. Stars twinkled coldly, the dust of battle drifting endlessly. Alex floated among the remains of destroyed alien ships, a lone figure in a vast, silent universe. But now he was not just a survivor. He was a symbol, a single human who had defied gods, proven that courage, skill, and determination could match even the greatest power in the galaxy. The camera zoomed in on Alex's face, illuminated by the glowing debris of the battle. His eyes were tired, his suit burned from sparks, but his spirit was unbroken. Humanity had a hero, and one human had rewritten what was possible. The galaxy would never forget the name Alex Ryden. The void of space was quiet again. Stars shone like distant fires, and the remnants of the alien fleet drifted in the blackness, shattered and powerless. Alex Ryden floated among the wreckage, his ship smoking, hull damaged, and warning alarms still screaming. Yet he was alive. Against impossible odds he had survived. Against a godlike fleet he had fought and won. Alex took a deep breath, gripping the controls. His hands shook slightly, but his mind was clear. Humanity had endured. The colonies scattered across the galaxy would now know that they were not helpless. The fleet that had struck fear into countless worlds had been defeated, not by armies but by one human, armed with courage, skill, and an ancient weapon forgotten by time. He activated his communication systems, sending a signal to every human outpost, colony, and ship that remained. The message was simple, powerful, and clear. We are alive. We fight. And we will never be weak again. Across the galaxy, humans received the transmission. On distant worlds, they cheered, tears streaming down their faces. Soldiers dropped their weapons, civilians ran into the streets, and for the first time in decades, hope burned brightly in every human heart. Humanity was no longer a frightened, insignificant species. One human had proven that their strength was real. Alex's ship drifted through the debris of the alien fleet. Golden fragments of destroyed warships floated like falling stars, some still glowing from internal energy cores. Scouts, fighters, and massive warships, all lay broken. The flagship, once the symbol of invincible power, had been shattered, leaving a void where fear had once reigned. As he navigated carefully, Alex thought of the people he had left behind on Orion 7. Families, children, soldiers, they had all trusted him with their survival. Their lives were now preserved, and the galaxy had witnessed what humans were capable of. He felt pride, exhaustion, and relief all at once. He had been alone, but he had carried the weight of humanity on his shoulders, and he had not faltered. The ancient weapon, now dim and silent, hummed faintly in the background. Its glow reminded Alex that humanity had resources far beyond what the alien fleet could understand. The technology of old, combined with the courage of the present, was more than enough to challenge even the most powerful foes. Suddenly, sensors detected a faint signal, a small, surviving alien vessel escaping the wreckage. Alex's eyes narrowed. The fight was over, but the galaxy was not entirely safe. Yet he allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had won the first battle, and that victory would echo across time. The survivors would rebuild, learn, and prepare. And next time humanity would not fight alone. He set a course back to Orion 7, the colony that had sparked his mission and given him purpose. As he approached, the planet came into view, scarred but still standing. Smoke rose from burned cities, but the people had survived. They had looked to the stars in despair, and now they would look again with hope. When he landed, the colony erupted in celebration. People cheered, ran to him, embraced him. Children touched his suit, soldiers saluted, and every human present knew they were witnessing history. Alex stepped out of his ship, exhausted, scorched, but triumphant. He looked around at the faces filled with awe and gratitude, and for a moment, the weight of the galaxy lifted from his shoulders. The leaders of Orion 7 approached him, offering words of thanks and admiration. "You saved us," one of them said. "You saved humanity." Alex shook his head. "No," he replied quietly, "we saved ourselves. I just reminded the galaxy of what humans can do." News of the victory spread like wildfire. Across human colonies, from distant mining stations to massive urban worlds, people celebrated the courage of one human against a godlike enemy. Statues, murals, and songs would immortalize Alex Ryden's deeds for generations. One human had challenged the impossible and won. One human had reminded the galaxy that strength was not only in fleets or weapons, but in courage, determination, and hope. As night fell on Orion 7, Alex gazed at the stars. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and unknown threats, but humanity had proven it could face even the gods. He knew there would be more battles, more challenges, but for now there was peace, victory, glory. And in that moment, Alex Ryden became more than a pilot. He became a legend, a symbol of what humanity could achieve when it refused to be defeated. The story of one human who fought an entire godlike fleet would echo across the stars forever. The camera pulled back, showing the small planet in the shadow of distant stars. Wreckage of alien warships floated silently, a testament to courage. Alex stood tall among his people, battered but unbroken, the galaxy's new hope. Humanity had won. Humanity had survived. And the legend of Alex Ryden had just begun.